Hello, it is Burgess Taylor, and this is a journal with me. Now, the long version of this with voiceover, where I actually talk about what I'm doing and why, is on Patreon. So, for those of you who would like to see more uncut version, unedited, just a tiny bit of time lapse here and there, and sometimes voiceover, sometimes not. It's really hard for me to talk while I draw. I wanted to dedicate this video to first of all, my patrons on Patreon. Second of all, for those of you who've inspired me along the way from the very beginning on my journey with combining art and words into my journal. I started this journey, probably around 3 years ago, and I'm going to name a few people who were big inspirations, and many still are. I'm going to start with Miss Vicky B and Romney's Realm and Courtney Diaz from Little Raven Inc., My Life Mix, Palest Blue, and there are many, many others. Dingley Delification, Shannon Green, the Fobonichi Journalers Group with Felicia Yukari. She was a tremendous inspiration, even though she didn't really do a whole lot of videos. Her journal pages were. Recently, I've come to realize that chronicling my life on the page with art and words, I started this journey as a sort of combination of smash book style journaling with text journaling, and I put receipt stubs and different things like that in my journal. I added bits and pieces of everyday life ephemera, little bits and pieces of scrapbook paper and some stickers and things like that. I did mostly text journaling, but I added a lot of smash book style elements, always have, to my journal pages. And then I came across Romney's Realm and Miss Vicky B and Courtney Diaz, and then I came across My Life Mix and Palest Blue, people who were chronicling their days in journals with art, who were doing planning and all kinds of things. But I came across the Fobonichi journals and the Hobonichi journals and the Traveler's Notebook way of journaling, and I fell in love. And I hadn't practiced art in 30 years, hadn't drawn very much, except every once in a while I draw a picture for my kids. I did a lot of coloring and coloring books with my kids, different things like that. My daughter was an artist, is an artist I should say, and she's really good with pencil and ink and colored pencils, and she's really good with painting, although she would say not so much, but she is. And I knew I'd had it in me because way back in high school, 30-something years ago, I took art all 3 years through the beginning part of high school, and then my last year of high school I was doing other things that were still art related. I took a journalism class and I learned how to take pictures. I took a lot of other creative classes. They didn't have really an AP or anything like that. They didn't have a fourth year art, or if they did, I don't think I could have fit it in my senior year maybe, but I don't remember exactly. But I know I took all 3 years that I could take back then. Now they have 4 years in high school worth of art, I know. But anyway, that's irrelevant. I put art aside for a long time because I was busy raising kids and I was busy being an adult. And art back in my day, where I grew up in my environment, was a luxury. Art was a hobby. Artists were people like Matisse and Picasso and Leonardo da Vinci and Rockwell, and they were all different kinds of art, but art didn't pay the bills, really. I mean, if you were going to go be an artist, you were going to be starving. And thanks to Julia Cameron, my attitude has changed. But back then, writing was a luxury. So I was going to do the same thing, and I was going to be a journalist. And then I ended up working in finance and banking, and I did that for over 25 years. And when I was laid off from a management position in finance, I decided to go bartend for a while, get out of that rat race, and I met Mr. Rockstar right before that, and my creative life really blossomed because he is a creative person. He is a musician. He is a singer and a guitar player, and that's why he's called Mr. Rockstar. He was doing solo acoustic shows, and he was the lead singer and a guitar player in a band. So I started down the path of writing again, and I started down the path of creating art again. I was documenting our engagement and our wedding and via journals, and then started adding art because my daughter got pregnant before I got married to Miss Rockstar. When she had Victor, right before a few months before our wedding, that little life, that being a grandmother, I realized soon I wanted to document extra things. I wanted to document things so that he'd have something like I did not have, because my father died when I was little, and then my grandparents started dying. My grandfather died when I was 17, 10 years after my father died, and I had always wished I'd had letters or a journal or something from my father, from my grandparents. You know, I do have a few letters, a few things here and there. A letter that my daddy wrote my mom, and I have to say that my stepdad, I normally call him dad. I'm just going to say my daddy and my dad. That's how I refer to them. My dad has always taught us, since he and my mom got married over and over and over again, there's no such thing as can't. Yes, there are some things that are improbable, but for the most part, you can do anything you put your mind to. Mr. Rockstar emphasized that and was like, no, do this. You can do this. And I started drawing little things here and there in the journal, just little stuff, kind of clip-arty things. And I was amazed at how good it felt. It was like therapy. As a matter of fact, art is a means of therapy. And I found my thing. And ever since then, I've been chronicling most days. I do this pretty much almost every day. On the days I can't do it, when I feel like I can't, when I am blocked creatively, I do something else. I'm still writing. I on occasion write poetry. I find some kind of mind candy. I read art books, or I read fiction books, or I read non-fiction books. I get outside of whatever it is that I feel like I cannot do, because what reiterates over and over in my mind is my dad telling us there's no such thing as can't. So I do something different. And for a while now, since July, when I found out that my dad has cancer, and then I found out that Mr. Rockstar has Crohn's disease, I have been in anxiety, depression mode. I've been fighting those tooth and nail, and it is art and writing and reading, all those creative outlets that I have, DIY projects that have saved me, my patrons who have been there and supported me, past and present, the two people I am a patron of who inspire me, who motivate me, who make me think outside of my comfort zone. This is also dedicated to you. I've already mentioned your names, but I really believe that if you want to, whether you think you can or not, you can draw. Drawing is a learned skill. We're not born with knowing how to write, or knowing how to read, or knowing how to draw, or knowing how to play an instrument, or knowing how to sew, or knowing how to quilt or knit, or any of those things. We're not knowing how to do, we do not know how to do those when we are born. We learn them. We learn how to speak a language. We learn how to write. We learn how to read. We learn how to draw. We learn how to play an instrument. We learn how to sing. Now, some of us are more naturally gifted at certain things than others. My daughter can draw the hell out of a face. She can make She can take a picture reference and draw it to it looks lifelike, and she's amazing. I, on the other hand, have trouble with faces. I'm practicing. I will not say I cannot draw a face. I'm just going to say I need to practice more. Practice, practice, practice. So I'm blessed because I have this in my life, because I opened the door to my creativity in a whole different way a few years ago. Because people out there decided to make videos and show the journals that they like, the way that they journal. They showed different ways to journal. They showed all different kinds of products and supplies. And yes, I am enabled. And yes, I enable. I said that once in a coffee chat. Whatever it is you want to do in your journal, I'm sorry, this is going to this video pause for a moment. Whatever you want to do in your journal, do it. Whatever type of journaling you want, do it. There's no reason that you can't. If all you want to do is put watercolor on a page as background and then write over it and add pictures and bits of ephemera, do it. If you only want to text journal and you don't want to do any of this, that's good too. It's your journal, do it your way. I've said that since the very beginning, since I found a person on YouTube who kept saying that over and over again. And you know, to be honest, that is the case. It is our journal. It is our style. It's our unique thing. And if you don't know what your style is, keep trying. Keep doing it. I still am learning my style. I'm still doing things differently. My pages change at random. Some days I have 2 or 3 things on the page that are highlights of my day, and sometimes I have things like this where I have one big thing. On Tuesday, I chronicled my morning routine because every morning, faithfully, I do stretches because I have to. Physical therapist told me if I wanted to keep full mobility in my shoulders and my neck, I had to do stretches every day. So instead of just doing the stretches for my neck and my shoulders, I started doing stretches for my whole body, and that helped. And I have also been chronicling all kinds of different things. The morning routine, when I take rest days, when we do something. Sometimes it's whatever I feel like chronicling. And that's what I love about doing the art and words this way. Thank you, all of you. Thank you.